Now, this is the second last of the reviews, episode 19, When Doves Cry. Honestly, this episode actually is decently good. There's obviously some stuff that kind of brings the episode down. But for starters, I did like how Eric does talk about his past battles with Xanth in Ninjago. Now, I don't believe we'll probably get a spin-off series. There could be a possibility, as there are certain stuff. But if we get some kind of flashback, maybe with an Eric focus episode with him and his battles, that would actually be, I would prefer that than a whole spin-off. Although if we get a spin-off, I wouldn't complain, to be honest, because I do like Eric as a character. So there's that. Anyway, basically Ninjago's whole plot is how Eric needs enough wish magic to create the other half of the Ox Dragon of Focus, and he needs peace for that, where this is Raptor ends up coming in and basically needs to be quiet to not disturb Eric, and they tend to be quiet, and they have kind of a quiet little fight, which I thought was nice. It goes on for a bit too long though, but at the end of the day, I don't mind Raptor as much as I mind Pow, as I mind the other annoying character in this episode. Like I said, I do like that. There's them being quiet is quite funny, to be fair, but it does go on for a decent bit. It's just had to buy time, in my opinion. And then you got Neon, Kai, and Powerlift, the big blue monster that they keep trying to push, which is honestly probably my least favorite character of Dragon Rising. I just can't like the guy. It may be in the future episode or future season they bring him back and he makes him likable. Yeah, but his whole personality is smash, I'm strong and stuff. It's just not funny in my opinion. I just can't like the guy at all. And Raptor basically leaves with nothing. Literally leaves with a box, that's all. And then they end up tricking Powerlift and goes into the water fountain. Also, there was a whole conversation between Powerlift and the Sorceress, which was honestly just stupid in my opinion. So most likely Powerlift will return in some way if it's related to the Sorceress, which I'm not looking forward to, but so on. There was a nice fight between the Forbidden Five, Spectronian Forbidden Five, and Lloyd and Aaron, well, the Spectronians. I did enjoy that quite a bit. I would say the main focus fight in this episode is definitely Lord Raz. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Raz as a character in general, but I am starting to like him more this season, 100%. Him basically, Miss Frohike does try to stop him, but obviously is utterly defeated immediately. Geo actually does put up a decent bit of a fight and ends up even taking his hammer and hitting him. And seeing how much weight that hammer is, that's obviously a Source Dragon icon and all that, so it does have some probably energy into it, which means it can think that as Source Dragon of Strength's icon, I'm pretty sure. So that's obviously why it hits that hard. So yeah, I really do like the Source Dragon icons and the whole thing between that. Anyway, Run 2 ends up appearing, which is honestly Run 2's getting a bit of a focus, which I do enjoy. Run 2 ends up appearing and fighting. Then she kind of realizes Raz has 2 icons, and I can't lie, she does put up a decent bit of a fight, but because Raz is having 2 icons instead of 1, he has 2, which from Run 2's reaction, no one really has done before, or if they have, it's probably an unlikable possibility. A lot of them don't end up doing it or something. I'm assuming Roger's never seen someone with 2 Soul Dragon icons. Of course, Soul Dragons probably rarely give out the icons, so the only way to get more than 1 is probably to forge them, which Raz did, which I do want to find out eventually who he forged, who he threw into that forger, and also Kerr ends up heading towards Ninjago, which I did enjoy. Like I said, the Forbidden Five, not the stuff, first thing Eren and Lloyd was actually still really cool. I did enjoy that whole sequence quite a bit. Because honestly, the Forbidden Five didn't have too much focus. It's pretty the main focus they had in fighting this part, which I'm kind of annoyed about, because I actually do like most of the Forbidden Five's character. I do like them a lot, but what can you do? I did like the idea of them awakening the dragon with song. It's a unique way. Well, not unique, to be fair. A lot of shows do this. In harmony with the you have to focus to have a harmony, I guess. It makes realistically sense. I do like how Nia's part, they can't all turn to birds because of the sorceress's like magic, or the land the sorceress lives on. I forgot what it's called. But it all turns to bird, and Kai's kind of feeding the Gia's wafers to said birds to obviously get them to sing. And at the end of the day, Wildfire is the one who completes Sora and Frax's part after they failed. And then with the wafers, they end up singing, creating the Source Dragon. Finally, Source Dragon focus to awaken, which was honestly pretty cool. I did enjoy that whole sequence. It was nice. And then it teleports away, basically. And then Aaron realizes he broke the little artifact, or whatever it is, the crystal, to stop the Source Dragon, to stop Thunderfang, and that's where the episode ends. It was a good episode. There's stuff that brings it down. For example, Power Lift brings the episode down. Rapton's whole fight does bring the episode down. It does go on for way too long. And if it was a short fight, like 2 minutes fight, I would think it definitely goes on for 2 minutes. Because it obviously cuts between Powerlift and Rapton, which makes it even worse, to be honest. So that does bring it down, but I feel like it doesn't bring it down too much. So I feel like it's an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 seems like a reasonable thing. It's not 10 out of 10, but it's 8 out of 10. I feel like Geo and Raz's like battle was really good, and I can't really move the episode down too much because of it. And then there's also, we got Lloyd and Aaron with the Finland 5, which is also really good. And Ron 2 vs. Raz was also amazing. So I just can't bring myself to bring it down. And the way they bring the Source Dragon, the Arc Dragon of Focus, that a lot like 2 halves back, was great. I enjoyed that whole sequence thingy, and I do like the fact that Gio's wafers that Kai keeps spitting out literally every episode he's in come in handy with the birds. It was great. Like, Gio also had an impact on this side, I guess. Without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe, do all great stuff, and bye, guys.